Lesser Demons, Third Class by the Mirror Cathartic. He made darkness his secret place, his pavilion round about him were dark waters and thick clouds of the skies. A recurring nightmare. Boy, they gon' butter your both ends and have your breakfast, lunch, and supper. You're so skilled with that thing. Come here, son. Come on. That's right. Yeah. I'ma teach y'all. Yeah. Teach y'all. This what they gon' do, boy. Or you'll find here with your granddaddy. You don't need that thing. Carl wakes in a sweat and sits up to check if he's pissed the bed. He goes to the toilet. As he pisses the bowl, he feels the familiar cold semen-soaked bottom sliming his ankles as he flushes. Hustler magazine and Vaseline, but no sleep. So he rolls from the dry side of the bed, again naked, and showers. The nightmare slips down the drain pipes and empties into the slow, brown, late summer river. Stagnates for a while by the rocks, where Granddaddy fished for crawdads. The silent, wrinkled eddy lures it away. Carl inherited Granddaddy's old clapboard house the previous month after the old man died from eating enough undercooked false morels. A for sale by owner sign stands upright in crabgrass, which makes the bent and cobwebbed house seem all the more crooked to passers-by. He trudges to the back of the sagging house to the shed. There, in sour and soiled yellow light of the afternoon peering through the open door like Granddaddy's ghost, he picks over his gear, collected parts and scraps from junk piles behind Ma Bell's and radio station's back door unwanted. Together in a tangle of wires, red, black, yellow, green, he rummages for white. The copper ends rust-colored and dusted like old man's whiskers. He abandons the idea, instead deciding it's time to go as Granddaddy for a drive. Time enough, he and Carol decided. The old folks would not see him. They are busy watching 3 o'clock news through hot plastic sets, ruminating whether to change the channel or not as they fill swollen bellies with beer before their meals will float atop the foam at 5. Carl thinks himself adept at tapping phones and describes himself to himself as technologically inclined, a term he's seen in magazines. A couple of miles downriver, the many-eyed palace, as Granddaddy had called it, watches through army green trees. Its barred glass lookouts flash due to a sometimes clouded, arcing sun. A whistle before dawn, noontime, and dusk. Carl can set his watch by its guards. At night, its orange eyes glow. Everyone for blocks has a tool for cans, bottles, pill caps, or smokes. Carl does not drink or smoke. He prefers other tools and habits, BB guns, and long telephone conversations through his devious nature, communication leftovers, obsolete, or discontinued junky ways to enter living rooms or bedrooms, tight walking wires, and frequencies like a starving, flea-bitten squirrel. "I think you ought to know when you're licked, son," Granddaddy muttered, whenever Carl came back inside from his padlocked shed. But Carl refused to entertain the old man's opinions. His special thievery just might take him west, to Hollywood, where a girl in cowboy boots might be going too. "A girl demon third class," Grandma used to say. Carl's high school crush had been a cheerleader, but only dated ballers over 5'11" at least. She married out of county, of the warehouse town. Carl does entertain his own self-deprecating opinions, one being that he is 5'8" in lifts at best, stocky, attractive. He passes for a white with a tan, a baby face, so he has a beard, which does not hide his soft, effeminate features. His thick muscles do not ripple. He checks every morning in the mirror, flexes unseen by any women. A layer of ancestral fat does not diminish no matter he bench presses, cycles, or swims at the school gymnasium. And there are boys from school and men in Adamstown who eye him up and down, admire his softness. They and Granddaddy made him mean. He watches reruns to dilute his drawl. Miami Vice, Streets of San Francisco, and MacGyver, but studies ways the bad guys might overcome. Right from wrong clear in his skull, he does not care. He is angry, a lesser demon third class. "Boy, town shit don't ever wash off our shoes, don't you know that? You can go west, but they smell you a mile away." That was the last coherent insult before Granddaddy convulsed at the dinner table, a coma overwhelming him but 6 hours later, on Grandma's birthday anniversary. 5'5" in lifts at best, Granddaddy fit no problem inside the unfinished cellar wall. Carl left him there to decompose, then merge with the cement. Grandma, 6 feet under in Adamstown Cemetery, never turned over in her grave. Weeks later, Carl put on Granddaddy's sunglasses, gray jacket, and feathered straw fedora, pulled out from the tree-lined covered carport, drove an hour and came back young, before streetlights still set on previous seasons' timing flickered on. Carol dropped him off far south of the back of the house where the woods were cut by Carrion Cullen Road, a 2 lanes seldom seen except by wildlife. Few went out of town towards the reservation and its casino. Opened a year prior, the casino was the only excursion for Granddaddy, other than the small-town gas station, or Sunday on Sunday at the diner. Once per month, he had gambled from his deceased wife's pension. a few hours of poker. Sometimes he left with small winnings, the reservation all the more wealthy. The road between Granddaddy's vices, foiled and wet under a 3/4 moon, Carol watched as Carl disappeared into the bottomless woods. An old half-mile beaten path, scarred with shadows, led to the back porch. After midnight, he was sure no one would see him enter the house, while Carol drove back into town. She had moved to Adamstown at 19, a year prior, worked the gas station register, a high school party gang rape runaway, and from parents rarely home or passed out drunk or fist fighting about money. Blonde, brown-eyed Carol, bird-like, dry and common-featured, with a pursed and terse pale pink mouth blocking rivers, cold as ice. Frail seeming but sinewy, like thin, strong twine. Quick at the register, a most deadened, heartless girl outside, resigned there was nothing to do about life but chew it. No gift for conjuring or pleasant beliefs. That was that, and that is all or nothing. But Carl thought he saw a sadness in her eyes if he looked hard enough, and that is why he confided in her what Granddaddy did. Trauma bonding between two soulless children, of two minds fused together for survival and wicked, cursed dreams. No buyers, Carl admitted, though the palace warden's wife did park her Cadillac across the street to eye the house from the sidewalk, but shook her head, ducked into the car, and drove away. Meanwhile, Granddaddy seeped through the cellar wall cement like a broad oil stain ruins the family tablecloth. The innards of the house reek of dead rats or squirrels in the walls. The rain pursues the two schemers, scratches at the windows, spits at the front door and back. Rapid and unconstrained beasts from the skies and bottomless woods. Carol cannot keep breakfast nor any meal for the stench, and her engine partially flooded on the way back to the house from the pumps, her last day at the register. That and missing inventory, the second faulty balance, and her absence caused the owner to hire a local recent widow. Gas station owner did not apologize. Carol chews on her tongue and fingernails. The shed roof leaks, so Carl dents its walls with his fists. If anyone noticed, they would see the two staring at the rain falling harder, their eyes like dead men's quarters. It'll let up. It'll stop by tomorrow, they whisper, but it does not. Cellar is flooding. Every night, the weather people wave downpours across an aerial view of Adamstown, and repetitive green Doppler spatters the map. By the third night, the two stop asking each other what they will do. An elusive jaguarundi has been spotted east along Carrion Cullen Road, says the anchor woman. Authorities speculate the wildcat's presence along the road is caused by the relentless storms. If you see the large black cat, do not approach or follow Authorities are expecting the cat has already retreated to the woods and are reminding folks of its protected status. Meanwhile, in other news, the Crestview Jaguarundi track team have won 4 consecutive races. Luckily, they have not been affected by the storms, which continue further south. Authorities caution Adamstown residents to stay indoors and do not attempt to drive or walk on Carey and Cullen due to possible landslides or washouts. The road appears clear at this time, but its adjacent embankment and wooded surrounding hillsides may slide at any time. Granddaddy's funds not accessible. Carol and Carl try long-time neighbors' homes they'd spied on together. If this don't work, Carol says, we can try my daddy's safe, hitch past the woods. Mrs. and Mr. Crispin spy back while the 2 evident evils puddle on their stoop. The widow Harrogate sits pleading God forgive her many years' grievous sins, her long once blonde hair steel and woolly down her back. She eyes the 2 leaving by way they came, along a narrow brick walkway through her overgrown lawn. Rose canes by the mailbox catch and tear Carol's drooping sweater. Huge thorns like jaguar claws. She spits at the roses. With can opener for baked beans, ham sandwiches, Granddaddy's army canteen, and Carl's BB gun, the 2 choose the muddy path to the bottomless woods. Carl wearing the old man's oilskin, Carol in Grandma's yellow slicker. Instead of walking out along Carey and Cullen, they veer west to follow the road unseen. Mists crouch between pine trunks for miles like spectral gun smoke from long ago massacres. The trees filter God's tears. They walk behind an ancient granite native sniper's lookout, a 20-foot-tall ridge split from Earth's muscle like the spine of a beast, Golgotha. The creature crept up from the twisting, swollen river and its lower rocks. He follows them like a myth, an anathema, black awe, unencumbered of space. As the 2 reach the middle of the ridge, they slump, backs against it, feet in chaotic gray needles. Below the needles, restless arrowheads. They split a sandwich and eat without speaking. The river utters volumes. The moment Carey and Cullen cracks 3 yards behind them, the creature leaps to the ridge as the eastern hillside waters carve through trees, soil, and asphalt. A rush in the woods quick as a whip. The 2 stand. Their mouths drop open. Thunderous clouds roll from northeast as fierce drums which shake the earth. A sharp whistle. Orange eyes of the barred palace across the river blink at the black-blooded maw. The toy rifle remains propped against the ridge 2 yards away. The waters of the river at dusk glisten like motor oil, the sky above thick with rain. Thou hast also given me the necks of mine enemies, neither did I turn again till they were consumed.